Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am your host, Zach, and today we are progressing from our mini tin to our Altoids tin, and now on to our Adventure Medical Kits Ultimate Survival Kit tin that I purchased off of Amazon. I just bought the tin. So incorporating the ideas I learned in building those kits, those thought experiments, those ideas and strategies I used to build upon those, ended up with this. And so let's crack into this today on Airborne Outdoors. Okay, here we are, guys, and first things first, I want to thank you all so much for checking out the channel. We surpassed 450 subscribers today, so we are well on our way to that first milestone of 500 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. I very much appreciate your likes, shares, subscribes, and comments. So if you watch the previous videos, I'll leave a link to the mini tin. I'll leave a link to the Altoids tin in the description box. And those kits, even though I mixed them and matched them and progressed on, they taught me what I can fit in a small, what I can fit in the medium, what I can fit in the large kit. And the idea of this kit is not to be its own standalone survival kit. I've made those before, and I'm going to make those again, and those are super fun. But this one was more made with the idea of it's just an addition to my bug out bag. It's an addition to my day pack. It's something that I can have packed and know that all the details are complete, and you know what all can I get in here. When you go to pack a big old bug out bag, you know, you get your 10 C's and your first aid and your food and your firearms, and a lot of times you forget some of the details. So that's kind of the nature of this series. So let's crack into this. Adventure Medical Kits 10, like I said, I just have the 10. I never did buy that kit. It is a great kit, and if anybody wants to see me review that kit, leave a comment like, hey, buy that kit and review it. And I will, and I'll leave my thoughts and opinions. But this lid has the rubber gasket in there. You know, you hear people saying dig that gasket out and use it as a frying pan, which is an obvious possibility. But I really like leaving it on there and you know, being able to have a secure tin. But again, it's just an addition to a bug out bag. So when we get back to the bug out bag build, and we're on step 3 of that, and so this will be just something that kind of a backup to some of those plans, just some of the smaller gear and things that it's just kind of a waste to not add it, in my opinion, for the space and the weight of it. So let me just start digging into this kit. Got it packed pretty tightly. I have my other Altoids tin and mini tins and stuff in there, and I kind of just I went around the idea of what can I fit in that mini tin, and then okay, out of that, what can I fit in a Altoids tin? And I have my little bit larger Altoids tin in there that I've used before. And then what all can I get in here? You know, yeah, I could have put a rather large shelter option and a rather large knife or multi-tool option and a big flashlight like that, but I'm already going to have those items in the bug out bag. So here's what we added to this smaller size addition to that bug out bag. First, right off the bat, I kind of have these two pieces of kit tucked together, but it's a nice coil of like snare wire. This is like picture frame wire. It's decent. It's black coated, but it is brass wire. And then I have my wire saw in there with a couple Ranger bands around there. Just while I'm on the subject of where I got this, I picked this up just cheap, and I'm going to go through this kit, and where I find it applicable, I will leave affiliate links in the description box for a couple products anyway. And if you guys are interested in supporting the channel that way, that would be great. The product costs the same. I may have a link for if you don't have Amazon, you can click on the link for the free trial of Amazon Prime, or the full Amazon Prime link, and then also the product links. And it's just it's a way for you to support the channel that costs you nothing, and it just makes me a tiny amount. Like, you know, maybe I'll leave a link to this flashlight, which is a wonderful little old light. E3, which one is this? The i3E. And it's just a little single double A. It's a great little flashlight. I was so happy when I seen these on sale on Amazon. So this one I will leave a link because I think it's just, they're only $10 on Amazon, and they fit everywhere. You know, they're the size of a AAA, well, maybe a AA battery. You know, there's only one AA in there though, so they're barely bigger than that. And so something though that it's obviously not a primary light source. It's not your headlamp. It's not your big bug out flashlight. You know, you want that big cool item, that $100 flashlight. So this is just a little backup, something to add in to your kit. I'll leave a link for this Brunton compass as well. Just a, it's kind of an upgraded version of a button compass that actually points north. I really feel like I need to buy another 10 of these because they're just awesome and they deserve to be in every one of your kits. Comes with a little lanyard on there, maybe 4 or 5 inches, but I just took that off so it fit in this kit nice and easy. But great little backup compass. You know, it's not your primary. You got your big old $100 compass in your bug out bag. This is just your little backup. Could this kit be used on its own? Yeah, of course, but that's not really how it's designed to be, like a last-ditch grab and go. It's just an addition, having some backup stuff to your main kit. Little Ultimate Survival Technologies, Star Flash signal mirror, micro star flash, great little signal mirror. Like I said, everything I can find, I'll leave some links in the description box. Maybe add some to the comments so you can find them easier. What else do we got in here? Let's dig out. Little derma knife. Like this one because it's got the razor blade and it has the hacksaw on there, so it's kind of a little upgraded derma. It's the only one I have, and it's in this kit. Another UST product. You know, they make okay gear. You know, they're not the highest end, but they're definitely not cheapy junk either. So, not a bad product at all. Product line to check out. This is kind of a pranky, jokey, but I like it. It fits in here great. It's something you never see in a bug out bag. And, of course, it's just a little comb. You know, trying to wash your hair or, you know, clean your beard. Being able to brush that out when you're washing, you know, maybe you don't have all the soap and all the body washes and conditioners and perfumes that you would have at home. So maybe this would be something that could really help bring your cleanliness up to par a little more. And it's a little heavy, but it's something flat and small, and it fits in this kit. And so just a fun little item. This, I think, is a great backup. Just something to throw in this tin that will be a great addition to your kit in the case of an emergency where you lose your main multi-tool or Swiss Army knife or whatever else you have, that you have this backup in there. Just a little SOG power pint. And, you know, I've showed the tools on this in the past. You know, it's got a great little pliers on there that would, you know, between these two, you know, that'd be great to be able to manipulate that wire better. Let's move those back. Those aren't in the kit. But another reason I wanted to use this one is because when you close it there, you got that bit holder there. And I just included a whole rack of bits. So let's just put our larger end screwdriver there. And then you got a really good grip and a really positive hold on that screwdriver and really get some work done. Doesn't come out easy or nothing. You got to open it to get it out of there. And so between those, adding some substantial tool capabilities to the kit. Again, it's not like a standalone that's what I'd want, but just add an addition. Let's add some of our, look into some of our fire option kits here. We got our little baggie of 9 kind of like Tinder Quicks. These were just a pack of like 30 of them on Amazon. I'll leave a link to these in the description box. They were just dirt cheap and they get the job done. They're a little more cottony and hard. So you really got to break them up to get them to catch a spark, but they do work great. Maybe I'll, in the near future, I'll make a video of just sparking these up and showing how easy they are to get a fire going with. Along the fire category, I just have that little Exotac 4-hour candle, nano. These are just cool. They're small. They fit in a kit like this. Could really come in handy in an emergency. You know, you're in a wet situation, you can't get your fire started, it's raining, you're cold, and you just break out your shelter and your main kit, your poncho or your space blanket, whatever you have, and you just light this candle and hold it between your legs as you're huddled over it, and could definitely be a way to get you heated up quickly. Again, if I can find some links, it's kind of new to me to be including links, and I'm so appreciative of the direction the channel's heading. It's even taking me by surprise a little bit, so bear with me as we continue to grow the channel. I think this is a great option, guys. You know, I've been in camping situations where the bugs were just so loud, and the frogs and the crickets were cranking so loud that I really couldn't sleep well. The rain, and storm, I can sleep through that just great, but having a pair of earplugs, just easy, simple, lightweight, something you might not include in your main bug out bag, but you know, hey, this is our little backup kit. So let's see what else we got here. Just threw a small first aid kit in here. I've had it in other kits, kind of combo like this. I supplied it up a little more, but we just got a couple band-aids and our alcohol wipes and our triple antibiotic ointment, a gauze pad here, a dude wipe. It's a small boo-boo kit. Cut your finger, wrap it up. That's what we got there. Something extra. I got my big old first aid kit in my main pouch in my butt pack. And so that's just another little small boo-boo kit. Maybe you're just going to head out from camp and you're going to just go collect wood, and you know you're going to be chopping and using an axe or a knife or something, and you just want to have a small little boo-boo kit with you. So you just grab this out and throw it in your pocket while you go head out. And so that could be something you'd use that for. This little bag, I tried to categorize this stuff as much as I can without, you know, I have my mini tins in here and I have my big Altoids kit in here, but they do take up more space, but also they do help organize. So it's kind of a toss-up, but how messy do you want to be compared to how organized you want to be? So some of these items are laid out without organization, and some are packed away in their own little category a little better. But in this kit, I have my favorite little tiny survival guide. I will definitely put a link to this in the description because it's cheap and it is complete. You get your Fresnel lens in there with it. I think that comes with it. I might have added it. Don't quote me on that one, but can I zoom out more? No, I'm already zoomed out. Just a full list of helpful topics, you know, from before you go to the bug out bag, or, you know, should I stay at home, how to get rescued, first aid, danger zones. And then this one for me especially is, you get in that hostile situation and you're panicked and you're cold and you're tired and you don't remember everything. And so you look up this real quick and you say, oh yeah, this, you know, let me make sure I look for some deadfalls when I'm setting up my shelter. And oh yeah, you know, let me set up this shelter half, this, you know, lean-to. You know, there's fire making and water collecting, and then the back is just all covered with instructions too, guys. And this is just an amazing, you know, this will fit into the bottom of an Altoids tin too, and I put those in those kind of kits too. But for this kit, I just had this baggie loaded out. So we got that, and then I threw in a couple of the Molina water coffee filters for that extra water filtration. And so I put my Right in the Rain pad here to kind of go along with that tiny survival guide, thinking I might want to take notes and you know, things I've learned from there, and maybe food identification, or like this mushroom I tried or this bean I tried. We got a little piece of tin foil come in handy for a few situations. Kind of threw that other coffee filter with the paper clips pinned to it, and then I have like a little backup match striker there, just because it was in the other smaller kit, and as I upgraded, it fit into this baggie well enough to be like, well, let me just, you can't really go wrong by having an extra couple coffee filters. Here's my little pen. Works great for that right in the rain. And then I have a little ink refill in there, which sometimes I just throw that in a mini kit to write in there, but obviously going to be a lot easier with that larger pen. Like I said, guys, I can already hear the comment section, you know, talking about things that are lacking or things that are not needed. And that's not really the idea of this kit. You know, this kit is just an addition to your other things that you already have. And so I threw my cool little crowbar, where we got a nice little nail puller, which will come in handy with another part of the kit, bottle opener, this little knife edge here. I could see like making some feather sticks with this knife edge. It's kind of right in the middle of the bar, so it wouldn't really be great for a lot of tasks like slicing or anything, because it's dull here and dull here. But for right there, you know, you could use, well, for striking and for just making some feather sticks would work great. And you got a little nut driver there, and some slots there, and so just a strong chunk of metal that you otherwise would more than likely not have anything like that in your kit. Small fire kit as a backup. You know, obviously I'm going to have my big main fire kit that has the 6-inch ferro rod and the fire starters and the UCO matches and the Exotac lighter case with the lighter in there, and all, you know, the wet fires and the Tinder quicks. But then, you know, got your little mini Bic with some 5 feet of micro cord on there. You got a pack of matches and a mini little ferro rod, you know, so a fairly complete little backup fire kit. You get separated from your main group and main kit and the main camp, and you want to have just something, you could throw that in your pocket. Or you lose the kit and you have this back at camp, and now you have something at least. Kind of the same idea. You know, I'd have a water filter with me, but just a small little water straw. You know, these are cheap. I think, I don't want to guess too. I think it's like $10. I'll leave a link in the description for this too, because I think this is just a wonderful little addition to these mini kits. You know, you just pop that lid off and you suck through there, and it's not a very long lasting one, but you filter that water with them coffee filters and get it clean. Maybe, you know, filter it into this, however you do it. And then, so it's fairly clear water, and then drink here to get rid of your bacteria and protozoa and cryptosporidium and stuff. And then you got a nice little backup water treatment option. Threw in my full-size chem light. Come in handy, especially like signal and rescue. I know in the military, we would use these. What do they call them? A zip wire, something like that. You just tie like 5 foot 550 cord on there and just wing it around. For example, on one of my jumps, I don't know, it was right in the middle somewhere, maybe the 15th or 20th jump. The guy next to me, his parachute didn't open, and he landed fairly close by me, and so I took my chute off and got this thing buzzing, and they came over right away, and they actually saved him. He said he was still a paratrooper 6 months later when I saw him loading onto another jump. Just a backup water filter, water system with your water bags. Whirl pack water bags. I got 2 of them here. Yeah, 2 1 liter Whirl pack water bags, and then 20 aqua tabs. So 2 tabs for each bag as they go. So you got plenty of backup means, and just to know it's in your kit. You know, you want this in your kit somewhere. Well, this is a great place for it to be, so that it's safe. It's in its hardened case, and it's got me wanting to talk about some other ideas as far as the way you store your kit in your bag, and we'll get to that before the video is over. So we're getting down into where we just have our little Altoids type tin in there, and so there's the tin itself. Somebody told me on the comments the other day that these rubber rollers are fire resistant or fire proof. I wouldn't try that out. I would probably, I don't know, maybe if you rolled them up like that and you had that thing, you know, half full of water and you wanted to boil it, and with the rollers over the top and not hanging down, they might help keep them from melting. But you could cook in there. You know, you could butcher a rabbit or a squirrel using your trapping methods, and cook some meat in there for sure. So let's. Well, I did add one of those bobbers out of my new little fishing kits because it's a pretty decent sized bobber, and it's the kind I'm used to with the hook on the bottom, and so they're so easy to use. You just throw it on the line. You don't need to feed it through or put stoppers or nothing. So then let's look into some deeper into our organization. I hope you can kind of see the direction the kit is going, where it's not so much trying to be a survival kit. It's an addition to the bugout bag. Little extra wire in there, because maybe we just want to pop this out and have it in our front pouch and have some easily accessible items. Got a P51 in there. Like we always say, you never know where you're gonna be. I mean, canned goods are, you know, they're gonna be around. I have canned goods. I have about a 6 month, well, 3 to 6 months, depending on my wife and kids, how much they eat, but of canned goods that are pretty much all expired, and I regularly eat them just to see. Like, I ate some corn that was about 15 years expired, 10-15 years expired, and you could taste the difference, but it's really, the quality is no different. You're still getting the calories, and anyway, so that would be a reason to have a P51. Finding some old canned goods. There's my little chunk of electrical tape. You know, you're gonna have your Gorilla tape and your duct tape in your main kit, and you remember, hey, I got a little electric tape in there because maybe my electronics, you know, maybe I got a little hole and wire sticking out there, and I just need to tape that up to be able to charge my phone and flashlight back up. And so that could really come in handy, you know. That's a viable piece of little kit. Got my little medicine pouch in here, and you know, as I was packing this thing out, you can just only put so much stuff in here, but it may be wise to pack a lot of medicine. You know, this is just 4 Tylenol, 4 ibuprofen, and 4 baby aspirin, but and that would be something to go by. But you know, there's plenty of other things. Well, definitely your own prescription medications you would want to have some backup of, and some antihistamines and antidiarrheals, and you know, flu medicine. But anyway, just a backup. Got some extra pills in there. Got plenty in my main first aid kit, so there's some extra in there. Paradise, like I talked about before, you know, I'm kind of a big gamer, and I really enjoy war gaming, or just any kind of gaming, and in a survival situation, you know, like my wife is from the Philippines, and we go over there to her small village, and you know, they don't have jobs, they don't have money. You know, my wife was born on the floor of a bamboo hut. So a lot of times they're just bored, and so it kind of makes you realize, you know, some of the things that are necessary for survival is to just relax and survive. And shooting some dice might be a great way to pass the time while you just not dying. Try to get my kit back into focus here. There's my little my favorite little toothpick to leave in these kits. You know, it's metal, it's sharp. It could be used to like help you get a splinter out, because you know, I got small needles in the kit, but they don't have such a nice handle to grab onto, and you know, you got a big blister from splitting wood and starting your fire, and you can get that out of there. But also to just get into that cavity in the back of your mouth that develops, and food's stuck in there, and that thing's gonna help you get that out. And then, you know, it's got its case, so you don't get all poked. My little barrel whistle. It's only 6:30. Maybe we'll. Oh my God, yeah, they're loud. Like I always say, I kind of almost feel like I'm overemphasizing how useful these little whistles are, but it's because they weigh almost nothing, and they can make such an incredibly loud noise for practically no effort, and that can really come in handy in an emergency. People are ways out, and that'll get their attention. There's that my mini light my fire live fire live fire mini. Again, how easy it is to fluff that up with your blade and then spark it, and it starts right up on the first spark. You get if a spark hits that thing, it's fire. So as you can see, this kit have 4 of those total, those little mini tins. And so one of them was that live fire, and then just kind of showed some organizational ideas, not necessarily building out the ultimate survival kit, but showing some ideas. Like here's like a little repair kit where I have some super glue, and I got a small tweezers down there and some safety pins. And so, I mean, it's not all that complete right now, but it's just showing what kind of ideas you can have for these kind of kits. Let's see. Oh, I got something tucked away here. My little, this is kind of a neat little tool. I don't know if they make this anymore. They might. It's that True Utility nail clippers. And like I said, in a survival situation where you're just sitting around a lot of the time and trimming your nails and filing them and keeping them clean and trimmed and the dirt out of there could really go a long way to, you don't worry about it now because you shower every day and you're bathing and washing your hands. But what about you're stuck in the woods for a month, and you know, maybe a little hangnail gets infected and dirt gets in there and you're not bathing, and man, you could end up killing you. It's like, how about let's just stay nice and neat? And it's just so small and so compact. It's something you'd never see somebody put in a bug out bag. You'd never see them pop that pouch open and pull out a little. It's going to be in its own organizational category. That's how I'm trying to show, you know, this is just in addition to all those other things. I don't have any big, you know, shelter or anything in here. This part is just like a kind of like a tiny repair kit. I got some needles and thread and buttons. I even got a couple of them beads. I thought they could come in handy in certain situations, maybe for fishing, or and then some safety pins in there too, just for the repair kit. Just showing how you can organize those things. And what do we got in this last little? This one's a little more pimped out. We got a couple of the small chem lights. Got a little, actually got a bobby pin in there this time. Let's dump this thing out. Little more wire can go along with that repair kit. Tiny little ferro rod, kind of a backup to your backup. Extra little needle, a couple chem sticks, and then that little knife in there. When you need it, you got it. And it's just tiny. It's something you would never see in somebody's bug out bag. It's something to add as a backup to the backup. And I'm going to show some things in here too before we're done too. Oh, here I got my chunk of, my little chunk of steel. I think it could be great in a few different situations, but it's actually pretty sharp on the end here. You could almost use it to like carve wood, maybe fine carving out some traps. It's almost kind of heavy duty, like a nail. You got a head, an eyelid there. You could tie off, maybe nail that into a tree and tie something off or something like that. But a useful little chunk of metal. And let's see what we got in our last little Altoids mini tin. Might be fun to make a tin just out of one of these too. Just kind of have a little pocket EDC. But let's just see what we got in here today. Oh, I remember now. Yeah. Just totally made this the fishing kit. So just as kind of a backup, you know, like extra fishing supplies. You know, when you're running out of all your main gear, you got your extra fire and your extra fishing and your extra first aid and your extra meds and backup water and backup lighting and you know. So it's just a bunch of backup, and it's tiny stuff. It's extra stuff. It's all in one pocket of the bug out bag, tucked in the bottom. Oh, I missed my little match. I got a little trick where I stuck a candle wick, so it's covered in wax, and then so I smashed it and stuck it on there, and I thought when I light this, it'll light that wax, and this will burn, but that'll burn a lot longer. But that's just another little fun idea. And then my fishing kit here. This is one of the reasons I kind of wanted to buy that pack of fishing kits, is just to have this neat little wound up piece of fishing line. And so it just all fits in there nice and neat. You know, we're heading off fishing, and I just got to grab this little mini tin, cut my 10-foot, 12-foot rod and string it up. And we got some flies in here. I even have one little like daredevil. I did throw maybe 4 or 5 nails in here. just because I was going to put them in that other kit, but they didn't fit as well. So I was like, oh, they'll fit in the fishing kit. So we do have some extra nails. We got a bunch of hooks. What was that? Oh, there's like a little 1/4 ounce lead eye hook. So you could put like maybe one of these grubs on there, or even you could even tie like a little piece of orange string. You know, panfish will bite on damn near anything. Panfish sometimes will bite on a plain hook. We got a bunch of sinkers in there and swivels and all that stuff. So that's the total contents of this kit, guys. I hope you can appreciate where I'm coming from with it, where it's just something to add into the main kit, where you just have some extra options and backups and other ideas, water bags and pills, and you know, just all the things that sometimes might get left out of a bug out bags list. If you watch some of my other bug out bag builds, you know, people like them, but you look, do they have these kind of things? And you know, they usually don't. So, and that got me to thinking about, like, when you're packing your bag and you're organizing the things. Because obviously, if I'd have left all the tins out, left the mini tin out, left the Altoids tin out, left all the baggies out, left all the mini tins out, and just poured everything in that tin, of course it would have fit way better. You know, I'm missing like 20% of the container is full of other containers. But it's because you're trying to organize it and keep everything in its, you know, right place for everything to be in its place. And so it got me thinking about the bug out bag itself, as far as like, well, let's say if I had this all in a pouch, well, then I don't have this useful tin. So these tins really come in handy. And I thought, you know, same thing with some of the other items. You know, what if I want to look at this tin? I didn't even have 4 whole. You know, this would fit 4 Altoids tins and then some, just in this tin. And you say, well, what do I need all these tins for? It's like, well, what do you need pouches for? If you could put something you had in a pouch in a tin, now it's the same amount of space, but now I got a whole nother pot to cook in. So anyway, in this kit, I just showed, did I even have anything? 2 of these are empty. Here I just packed out like a little hygiene kit. You know, it's stuff you're gonna have somewhere anyway. It'll be its own little hygiene kit, is blue, and then I built like a little fire kit. You know, you got your ferro rod and your lighter and jute twine and matches and Tinder quick, and it just all fits in the Altoids tin. Something easy. And there's that my little junk box, but I kind of added a few more things in here as far as just like not having to have so many of the same or variety of things, because a couple eyelets though, I thought, you know, this could be useful for like a tripwire, where you screw it into a tree on one side of the trail and screw it into the tree the other side, tie a tight string on there and maybe have it coiled up into an alarm system. But I got a bunch of screws in there this time and a bunch more nails and some more safety pins. So just ideas of how you could have things organized. And I was looking at some of my other kit stuff, guys, and you know, let's just say you got stuff packed out in this Condor TNT pouch, which by the way is a great pouch, and we're gonna make a kit off of this pouch in the coming week. But why not like take the things out of some pouch that isn't a pot and put it in a pot? And you know, so it's like, okay, here's my small pot. It's like, okay, yeah, I could have all my tea and coffee and electrolytes and some backup calories, and I don't even have it half full, but I could have that thing just chock packed full, where it's going to be somewhere in the bag anyway. So why not fill that space with another small pot? Because it's always going to come in handy for cooking and water purification. And here's that bigger pot. And same thing, you know, you could fit, I got some extra fire starters and an Exotac lighter and my bowls and cups that fit in here just great. And then what are we stuck on here? My favorite part of the kit, I have that my little firebox in there. Like I said, this thing just works great. Get a fire going in there and throw this pot on top, and it is wonderful. So again, guys, I will throw some links, some affiliate links in the comments, in the description box somewhere. Hopefully you can find it easy. And Appreciate so much that you guys are enjoying the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Be the first one to see all my new exciting survival kit and bug out bag builds. We're still working on getting outdoors. The snow and the cold has been brutal still, so give me some time and we will be back in the bush, starting fires and building shelters and trapping and fishing and doing what we can do. Thank you so much, guys. Like it, like it, like it. Hit those affiliate links. Doesn't cost you anything. Supports the channel in a tiny little way, and especially subscribe. As soon as we hit them 500 subscribers, guys, so the channel can grow a little more and we can have a whole lot more fun. So thank you guys so much for checking me out today on Airborne Outdoors.